India's month-long vote for a new government is winding down. The voting is staggered to allow a record 814 million people to cast ballots safely and with proper supervision. But this election will also be known for its huge amount of campaign money. Estimates are that nearly $5 billion will be spent, making it the second highest amount in any election anywhere. To tell us where this money comes from and why so much is needed, we have Alex Travelli of the Economist magazine with us on Skype. He wrote a recent column on India's money politics. Thanks for coming on LinkAsia.
Thanks very much. Glad to be here.
How does the $5 billion square with the strict laws India has about how much each candidate can spend to win a seat?
Well, there's almost a complete mismatch between these two figures. The $5 billion is an estimate that a bunch of people have come to. It's actually a conservative estimate, but that supposes that a lot of the most competitive races are going to be run between candidates who might need to spend about $5 million to fight their seat. Now, compare that to the strict expenditure limit, which at its highest, and this has been raised in recent years, is just about $115,000 US. So they're spending not just 10 times more than they're allowed to, but in some cases 50 times more. You have to wonder what good these expenditure laws are doing in the first place if they're being routinely overspent by such a wide margin. Margin's almost not the word.
What do candidates spend all that money on?
Lots to be spent on transport, increasingly on traditional media, and also web media, TV. That's all become expensive, and a lot of that actually gets accounted for towards the $115,000 limit that the candidates are allowed to spend. But then there's the hidden expenses, and this is the really grassroots stuff, and it's where the real money is. It's mostly cash, banknotes, 500 rupees, 1,000 rupees, being put into the hands of ordinary voters, usually in the day or two before they go to the polls. But it's not just cash. It's also liquor is a traditional favorite, drugs, also more wholesome things like saris or fried chicken. There's almost nothing that you can't give as a token of appreciation from the candidate to the voter that people think makes a real difference towards winning the seats.
That's pretty astounding. Well, here in the U.S., we're worried about big business pouring cash into campaigns. What about India?
Now, everyone knows that businesses here, big businesses, but especially small and medium-sized businesses, give a whole lot of money to candidates. A lot of that $5 billion is coming out of corporate pockets. And in fact, one of the ways that you arrive at an estimate of how much is being spent to campaign in India, because this is all off the books, is just to look at how hard it is for businesses to get their hands on cash during election season. You're actually seeing a massive vacuum of cash as it all goes into these campaigns.
And where does the rest come from?
Well, the money comes from largely, I don't know if you want to distinguish this from the traditional business houses, but a lot of the money has to be black money. That is what Indians call unaudited money. And this does come from businesses. It also comes from criminal enterprise. And it comes from the sort of gray area between the two that connect a lot of very lucrative enterprises in India, such as especially property development, mining, the sort of things that generate a lot of cash that can be kept away from the tax inspector. If you were to believe what's written down by the parties, you'd suppose that millions of Indians were giving small amounts, less than 20,000 rupees each, to the main political parties. But in fact, we just don't know where it's coming from. It's coming from everywhere.
All right, Alex, thank you. Alex Travelli edits Banyan, the Asia column for the Economist magazine. He spoke to us from New Delhi. By the way, we said India's election expenses are number 2. Who's number 1? The U.S. The 2012 national elections cost around $6 billion. India's elections are not only drowning in a sea of cash, but also a deluge of accusations and counter-accusations by the main parties. In one corner, members of the Gandhi dynasty stumping for the ruling Congress party. And in the other corner, the candidate for the opposition, Bharatiya Janata Party, Narendra Modi. Here's our contributor, Ajoy Bose.
As India's longest and most acrimonious national polls draw to a close, a ferocious war of words has erupted between the Gandhi ruling dynasty and the leading claimant to the throne, Narendra Modi. The verbal punch-up appears to have intensified with the dramatic entry on the electoral landscape by the Gandhi daughter Priyanka. Despite holding no formal role in politics, she has displayed far more enthusiasm and skill in exchanging blow for blow with Modi than her political heir brother, Rahul. Although limited to campaigning just for her brother and mother, the Congress party's matriarch Sonia Gandhi, Priyanka has grabbed national attention with her virulent attacks on the BJP and its prime ministerial candidate. Many compare her to her grandmother Indira Gandhi, considered the most powerful prime minister India ever had. Unlike her brother, whose tentative political style had failed against Modi's aggressive and personal campaign, Priyanka has taken the war right into the enemy camp. Over the past few weeks, she has, on a nearly daily basis, needled the BJP strongman at every campaign stop. She delivers taunts with a smile, but she aims to hurt. Priyanka has mocked Modi's boast of having a 56-inch chest by saying it was not the size of a politician's chest, but his heart that is required to serve the people. Stung by Priyanka, the BJP has sought to hit back by targeting her husband Robert Vadra, going to the extent of releasing documents and a video listing supposedly questionable land deals by him. Undaunted, Priyanka has got even more defiant, describing BJP leaders scrambling like panic-stricken rats. Modi's peak with the Gandhis was underlined this week when he chose to visit Amethi, Rahul Gandhi's parliamentary constituency, which he inherited from his father Rajiv, who was assassinated more than 2 decades ago. In a rare hostile gesture, the BJP leader bitterly criticized Rajiv. Incensed by the criticism of her father, Priyanka saw that the voters of Amethi would take revenge for this insult and condemned Modi for his low politics. The BJP leader has sought to turn the tables on her by alleging that her criticism was meant to put down his low caste origins. This vitriolic exchange is being keenly followed in the social media. Not surprisingly, both Modi and Priyanka have avid fans as well as bitter critics. Interestingly, Priyanka's polemical skills appear to have had a more positive impact on users. The mudslinging match between the Gandhis and Modi, along with the crude and provocative statements made over the past few weeks by candidates and leaders fanning caste and communal hatred, can't be a good sign for India's future governance. For LinkAsia, this is Ajoy Bose in New Delhi.
Now on US airwaves, a global channel of uncompromising stories. World news, documentaries, entertainment, and culture. Link TV, connecting you to the world. For more information, visit linktv.org.